Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again. Here with, I'm pretty sure this is part 6 of my reaction to former Delta Force operator Chris VanSant on the Sean Ryan Show. So let's jump back in.
Shit. For those listening that don't understand that, so when Chris is saying that the hand got blown up by a blasting cap is basically about the size of a Bic pen.
Yeah.
About half the size of a Bic pen. You put it into a charge, and that's what initiates the bomb to go boom.
The larger explosive, yeah.
So they say, I don't know how accurate this is because I never really fucked around with them to find out, but they say, at least in buds and SEAL training, they say that the blasting cap is very sensitive, and maybe that proves the point.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take a lot to set them off.
It's funny the things that happen. Like that happened again when I was a baby, for lack of a better term, going through the course. But I breached for a really long time. When I actually got to the teams, I breached for almost 3.5 years in combat, which you're not really supposed to do for that long. And that's a whole story I'm sure we'll talk about later, but it made me very conscious of everything that I was doing and very methodical as a breacher. And I think it was important to me being successful as a breacher later on. So yeah, even from all the bad always comes something good. And I think it made all of us better operators.
Where do you think if you started with roughly 15, graduated with roughly 10, 11, where did most guys, and then you spent a lot of time over there, where do you think most guys get caught up in OTC, in the training pipeline?
Complex environment. I think when you have so many things coming at you, like CQB is the most, as you know, like it's the most complex of all combat related environments. You've got stuff going on in different rooms. You've got people coming from different angles. The unit is always taught multiple entry CQB. So you've got where are the good guys, where are the bad guys. When you shoot at a target, you got to know what's in front of, what's at, and what's behind my target. You've got stuff overhead. You've got stuff in your ears. You've got flashbangs. You've got door charges. It's just so many things going on at one time that I think it's just too much for some guys. And they might be able to get away with it for a little bit, but eventually it catches up to them. And I think whiteout is the right term, but whatever. It's basically just too much information for a guy to process and make sound decisions. And I think that's the dominant thing that gets guys.
That's awesome to hear him speak about that. When he's talking about that, I'm just having flashbacks and memories to my time on both NZ and Australia on cycle, and there's a lot of information. But man, I think I feel like personally, you either love it and enjoy it, and you want more of it, or it's too much. Like he was saying, some people might might be too much information to take on board. And I was catching up with one of my mates. We were on cycle together. He's still in the army here. And he was honest and spoke to me about, he just wasn't, he got pulled aside, got spoken to, got given a chance, come back, but still wasn't picking up what he was supposed to be able to do or what he should have been able to do as per the rest of his cohort on cycle. And and he ended up getting removed from cycle, but I believe he went back later on. So it was cool to catch up with him. When I caught up with him, he wasn't in the regiment these days. He is based elsewhere and doing other things, teaching people how to shoot. So, really cool guy. So it's just interesting though, hearing Chris speak about their I guess that's the Q course or their training in terms of what they're going through to get qualified to become an operator. Good times, good memories.
Towards the end?
I think we lost one kind of midway that just couldn't cut it. Most of them were toward the end. And then, you go to a board at the end of OTC again, which is basically where your overall performance is assessed throughout the entire course. You can get dropped at any point along the way, but the board kind of looks at your overall performance and then takes input from all the instructors on your personality and demeanor and things like that. And squadron leadership makes decisions, and they basically pick onesies and twosies and try to figure out where the best fit for a guy is. Because like any organization, kind of each squadron within that organization has a little bit different vibe, different personality. So I've always felt like they did a really good job with guys ending up where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
At least I felt that way. I felt like where I went was absolutely the right choice for me.
I've heard you talk about the competitive culture within the unit, and listening to your OTC experience and a couple other people's OTC experience, it doesn't, I could be totally off on this, but I don't hear a lot of competitiveness happening in training. Am I correct on that?
No.
No?
I mean, there is a level of camaraderie, I think, in the course because you're all going through the same things and you're in teams. So you definitely pull together with your teammates.
Okay.
Like Sean and I are on the same team in OTC. Like I want Sean to be successful. Sean being successful means I'm successful. So there's an inherent camaraderie and unity that comes within that team environment. Between the teams, definitely competitive.
Okay.
They want to be faster. They want to be better. In my particular case, way late in the operator training course, they busted it all up. So I was very used to and very comfortable with the other 3 guys on my team going through the course, and we were getting very good at what we were doing as we advanced in skill set. And I was the baby on the team. I had 3 Green Berets, 3 seasoned Green Berets were my OTC teammates for the first 3 quarters of it. And then late in the game, they blew up the teams and they switched us all up. And I ended up on a completely different team with completely different set of guys. And I don't know if like they just did it to like me, like they put me on another team and it was the same 3 core guys and now me. And I had to integrate into that. Or, you know, like if it was certain guys that they did that to, or if it was just in general, they just wanted to bust it up and change it up and see how guys reacted to it. But that took a minute.
I think what I like about that and why I'm smiling and listening to some of his stuff is that I found anyway that was pretty normal, getting moved around into different teams during cycle on both NZ and Australia. So I think they call it OTC Operator Training Course. It sounds very similar to aspects of the cycle of training for the New Zealand or the Australian Special Air Service in the specific phase in terms of the counter-terrorism or CQB, whatever you want to call it. But being moved around and being integrated or mixed in with other members from your cohort, I found that to be awesome. I think it was an integral part for the individual to show their ability to be able to integrate with other team members, still continue and carry out the drills and flow as per normal. You do get used to people in your team when you've got enough time and you're running through the building day after day, week after week, and getting the drills down and fine-tuning those things where your particular team might have went wrong in certain things. And then when you get switched around and moved into other teams and you don't necessarily know what were some of the things that they were maybe doing wrong, or maybe not so much wrong, but yeah, things that maybe they could have improved on, that can be a little bit tricky. But at the end of the day, CQB is CQB, and flowing through the building, where you position yourself, how you stack on the doors, how you maintain all-round security prior to going in, looking and assessing the doorways and seeing which way it appears it would open. Either it's an external opening door or it's an inward opening door. All of that sort of stuff is pretty much the same. How you approach and cover stairwells, how you make your way up, how you're making your way down, etc. Going to the points whereby you've got multiple entries into a building, understanding and knowing where your cutoff point is, because you'll have friendlies on the other side. All of that sort of stuff, I think, is. I would assume, listening to Chris, that it would have been general and that they probably make all participants through that through the OTC course integrate and mix up and go with other teams. That's what it sounds like they would do anyway. I don't know that it would be just not targeting, but I don't think it would be just one specific person or just a handful of people. I think it's important to have a level playing field and everybody goes through and has to do the same thing, integrate with different team members. You might not get through everybody, you might not partner up with every single team or group, but you should get moved around, I think, enough so that the head instructors, the lead instructors, senior instructors can get a good eyeball on you and see how you go. and then they can make better decisions in terms of whether or not you're meeting the standard or not.
Because we had been so competitive with that other team, you know, because we're all alphas, you're like, I don't even like that dude. Like, you know, he's too cocky. He's whatever. And one of them turned out to be a good friend of mine years later, but I thought that about one of the guys on the team that I went to. It's like, he's a cocky shit. Like, he was from range of measurement. He's just one of those people. And you meet a lot of those guys in that world that they're just good at everything. And it kind of pisses you off. You know what I mean? Like I'm struggling every day, like just to be enough to keep going. Like, that's how I always felt. And then you look at some guys and you get to know them years later, and you find out that that's not true, that they were having those same mental struggles that you were.
Yeah.
But from an outsider looking in, maybe they're a little older, maybe they've done a little more, maybe they handle a little better, whatever. But you look at them and you're like, man, fuck that guy. Like, he's just good at everything we do. Meanwhile, I'm out here coming in on Saturday, coming in on Sunday, like just trying to get by. And I think I felt like that joining that team. So it took a minute, but it was a good experience to be pulled out of everything that you know and that comfort and shoved back into something else and still having to be effective and meet the standard.
That's interesting to hear him say that. I was smiling and laughing because I was thinking more of, I can picture guys that I didn't like, people that I thought, and there wasn't many, to be honest, on cycle or in the regiment. There really wasn't, to me, there wasn't many at all. I liked pretty much vast majority of the guys that I was fortunate to serve with and be in the unit with at the time, even the instructors. I have to admit, I don't recall, and there were people that I didn't like not because I thought they were awesome or because I thought they were good at everything, because I thought they were idiots. But the people that I saw, to Chris's point, the people that I saw that appeared to be really good at a whole bunch of things, that it didn't matter what they did, that they just seemed to be really good at it. I definitely don't recall having any negative thoughts towards them. If anything, I felt, man, how can I try and emulate that? How can I try and get to the standard that they're at? First, how can I meet the minimum standard? But then also, how can I try and emulate what it is that those higher level operators were doing that I wasn't able to do yet? And so I started paying a bit more attention to those guys, not getting angry with them, or not feeling the way that Chris was describing, thinking, man, stuff these guys, they're good at everything. If anything, I was thinking, far out, these guys are awesome. I'd love to be able to be at that level, because they seem to be higher than the minimum standard, which is where I'm just managing to get by at the moment. So, yeah, interesting to me anyway.
Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea. I was wondering, I've always heard that I worked with a lot of guys from CAG over at when I was contracting at the agency, and I could feel the competitiveness from those guys. And I think all of them are very ultra competitive, and then get into the interviewing game. I hadn't heard about the competition in OTC.
Yeah.
So I was wondering where that kind of developed.
Well, and then it's anything that's individual, super competitive. Running the O course, either one. They post your times.
Okay.
So you get to see, I'm number 14.
Okay.
Or I'm number 1.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing with shooting competitions, do a couple of evaluations along the way. And it's all to prepare you for the culminating stuff. But you see your standing, the upper body round robin, or the sequence of events that you do for physical fitness. And it's changed. I don't even know what they do now. They do a bunch of different shit. But then it was like 10 or 11 events. And they had a metric in each one of those. And then an overall encompassing score. So not only did they post how you did in each one of those individual metrics, but they posted your overall score. And they racked and stacked you as a class. And they did that periodically. And so, yeah, it was very competitive when it came to that kind of stuff.
Did you guys do peer evaluations?
Ooh.
That's a great question. I'm going to pause it there before I forget what it is that I'm going to say. But I really like that, what he was talking about in terms of how they put your scores and your times, your run times, your shooting scores, all that sort of stuff, how they put that up. That's awesome. I think the only time that I can remember shooting scores being shared was when I was on the snipers course in Australia, and that was good. I loved it. I suppose you love it more when you're winning for want of a better term. Or I still enjoyed it when I was still in like that top 5 of the group with regards to the shooting. But definitely enjoy it more when you're winning. The part that I like about this, though, what he's talking about, I never experienced that in NZ or Australia during any of the other courses. And I just wonder if they do that now. It'd be awesome if they do, I reckon. I think it helps. I think it's healthy in terms of healthy competition. I think it's good to help candidates that are wanting to join the unit know where they stand in comparison to where others are. And yeah, it gives you, I mean, you can typically tell who the fit, fast, strong guys are anyway from the PT sessions, and they're usually blinking smashing it. And that's all good, but I think that would be healthy. We never had it on mine, but I think it would have been a good thing to do. I am curious to know whether or not they do that now. And his other question, did they ever do peer reviews? I feel like we did more peer reviews when I was in the New Zealand one, going through the New Zealand cycle. When I say the New Zealand one, so I wasn't badged in the NZ SAS. When we did, I think we even did a peer review on selection. I could be wrong, but for some reason I feel like we might have been on pre-selection. And we definitely did peer reviews or buddy ratings during the cycle, throughout the cycle at different times. And in Australia, oh man, I can't remember too many. Might have only been a couple from memory. There may have been more, but I can only recall doing, a handful of buddy ratings, peer reviews during the Australian cycle. And I think those are handy. I think they're really helpful. Gives a sense check in terms of where the candidates see their cohort or their peers that they're on cycle with, who they'd want to go to war with. And it either helps confirm or raise question marks for the different directing staff and the senior instructors when they're looking at different candidates or different individuals. Like they might have looked at me and thought, I don't think this guy's up to scratch. I don't think he's doing well. I don't even think the guys like him or whatever. And maybe I don't know if this was the case, but maybe I ranked higher than what they thought in a buddy rating. And then maybe they stopped and thought, oh, okay, maybe we need to have a closer look at this guy. Because if the cohort and his peers are ranking him in the top whatever, and we haven't got him there, then maybe we're missing something. So I think those buddy ratings from that perspective could serve and probably prove to be pretty useful for the directing staff. Not saying that that's how I was ranked or that's how cohorts, members on my cohort thought what they thought of me. They might have thought I was bloody rubbish. So it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say. I don't think he's answered it yet in terms of whether or not they had peer reviews.
I don't know. I honestly don't remember, Sean.
Okay.
We did counseling once a month where you had a cadre member that was like your team's lead guy, and he would counsel you on, sustains, improves, whatever. I don't think we did peers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And maybe I don't remember because I went through the SFQ course eventually too, later on, which is weird, and peers were a huge part of that. But I don't think we did.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I remember.
Interesting.
I'm sure somebody that listens to this can comment in and go, yes, you do, or no, you don't. And how do you not remember that? But that's whatever, man.
Yeah. That's one thing that always kept me in check. We did that in BUDS. We did that in SQT. We did that at the team. And having an instructor evaluate, that's heavy. Having your fucking team evaluate. We did it. I think it was tough. In BUDS. I just want the top 5 guys and the bottom 5 guys and the reason why you placed them there. And I've been in the bottom and I've been in the top.
Yeah.
And that's fucking humbling.
Well, I always just wanted to finish in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
In any one of those things. Like I had some strengths, like I could run. I was one of the top 2 fastest guys in the class. So I had, like, me and another dude used to battle out for second place. There was another guy who was a former Navy diver, who was an ultra marathoner and held the Badwater record for some years.
Nice.
Here in the US. Mike is a fucking outstanding human being, but we were always 1 and 2. So I had some strengths, like shooting wise, Like I was a speed guy. I was good anytime I didn't have to like sit there and think about it. That's why I was never like a long gun or a long range shooter guy. So all the fast drills with rifle, I did well at. All the fast stuff with pistol, I did well at. You put me on a 25-meter range, slow fire with a 45. Good God. And I got better. Thank God people are good at teaching. But I just, whatever it was, man, I would get in my head and I'd be at the bottom of the pack, and it was terrifying. Like, so I was always just shooting to kind of be middle of the road, going.
That's pretty interesting to hear. It sounds like, Sean, they must give the information. They must let the candidates know where they're ranking, where they've ended up in the top 5 or the bottom 5, because Sean said he's been in the bottom and he's been in the top, and it's been humbling. I honestly don't recall in NZ or Australia us ever being pulled in and being shown the list of where we've just been ranked by our peers of where they see us. I do recall several guys from my NZ and Australian cycles whereby I consistently had the same guys in that top 5, top 10, depending on how many we had on cycle. And some of that was because I was good friends with them, like just clicked, just got on really well. But more importantly than that, maybe not more importantly, equally important to that, aside from clicking and getting on well and just being really good guys and being good friends, is that they were just fantastic operators, like really switched on, really sharp, attention to detail, fit, fast, strong, highly capable, highly competent. And yeah, those are the types of guys that I saw that I wanted to be around, that I wanted to go and serve with, and that I wanted to be friends with. And so I was fortunate to be able to have some friends like that. And I honestly don't know where they ranked me or what they thought of me, but hopefully they thought enough of me, or they must have thought enough of me for me to still be on the cycle. Because I think anybody that's getting ranked near the bottom is probably running out of time. That's what I would suspect anyway. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up here because I've got some family out here now waiting to come in and see me. So I'll catch up with them. But appreciate your time and support as always. Great to get through this. This is only a little over 20 minutes, so much shorter than my other ones. But thank you for your time and support as always. I sincerely appreciate it. As always, the message is the same. Anybody going through any hard times, difficulties, challenges, hardships, I understand and get that it may be lonely and hard and miserable, but just know and trust that things can do and will get better if you want them to. The sun will shine again. Just keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other and take one day at a time. I promise you, if you want things to, they will get better. So just keep fighting and stay at it. As always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation and gratitude for you all.